last clip you just saw of Tony singing "Fly Me to the Moon," his accompanist is my dear friend Lee Musica, and we've made music together in New York. And he's been with Tony for years. And even though Tony was struggling with Alzheimer's, he never forgot a word of a song. Huh. And that's quite incredible. Tony the man is, I can't tell you how wonderful. You saw how he was with Lady Gaga and with Amy. He was with younger singers, he was an absolute diamond. And in so many ways, he helped us at our foundation, Amy's foundation, in many, many ways. Not only did, with that song Body and Soul, not only did he donate, obviously, our own money from the song, he also donated his earnings from the song as well, which gave us many hundreds of thousands of dollars that we were able to help young people in New York and in the UK with. So just an overall, just a totally wonderful guy.
It's really an amazing story you told there, Mitch. And what do you put that down to as an individual? I mean, you know his background. He comes from relative poverty. His parents emigrated from Italy. He was like a restaurant singer, so it's a really humble background. But did that give him a sense of sort of giving and wanting to give back and raise up those that were coming up into the game?
Well, he wanted to help everybody, you know. And just coming back to our foundation, Tony Bennett, his son, is one of our trustees in New York. So, you know, we've been with the Bennett family for the last, ever since Amy did that duet and since Amy passed away. And he would go for a walk in Central Park, and he would stop and talk to people. He would paint in Central Park. He was a man of the people, an absolute true gentleman, and he never forgot where he came from. Unlike a lot of singers today who do forget where they come from, he certainly didn't forget where he came from. An absolute diamond.
Yeah, and in the sort of the write-up about him in the New York Times, it says exactly that many journalists and writers try and find a little edge, something about the man that, you know, says that he's not the person that he seems to be on the surface. But no, he seems genuinely to be a really decent person. Talk to us a little bit about his voice, because I've read different things about what people say about his voice. Described as sandy, it's not super powerful, it hasn't got loads of gravel. Like, what was it about his voice that was so, I guess, accessible?
Well, you know, people like Tony Bennett and Frank Sinatra, they were very fortunate to have wonderful voices, but also they were fortunate to have the best songwriters writing the best songs for them. And but Tony never always, you know, Frank Sinatra probably got the first pick out of the best songs, and the story goes that he actually turned down, if my memory serves me right, Sinatra turned down San Francisco, and what a result that was for Tony Bennett. But Tony was able to sing fabulous standards. He was a wonderful jazz singer, in my opinion, much better than Sinatra and the genre of those days. And just an overall fantastic person, and just a wonderful singer, and just wonderful to be with, and an absolute gentleman.